For the introduction, as we all might know, the journey to become a CPA is challenging but very rewarding. One of the most important milestones in this journey is the licensure examination for Certified Public Accountants or LECPA. This assessment by the Professional Regulation Commission or PRC to evaluate the competence of aspiring accounting professionals. Our research paper, Factors Affecting Fourth-Year BSA Student of Polytechnic University of the Philippines, Manila, on their intention to take LECPA. We explore on how important the LECPA in the national development that keeps integrity of our accounting professional given the multifaceted role as a CPA which expected to have according to the Accountancy Law of 2004, which include the financial reporting, taxation, auditing, and the representation of clients to regulatory bodies. Whether already an accounting professional or aspiring to be one, we all know it is challenging nature of LECPA with the comprehensive coverage of six essential subjects. But in our paper, we also highlighted the significance of our passing the LECPA that could open the doors to the various opportunities of accounting professional. The general intent of our paper is to explore what are the factors that affect the intention of fourth-year BSA student at the Polytechnic University of the Philippines, Manila to pursue the LECPA. With this, we expect to understand what could support aspiring accountants in their professional development by knowing what the challenges or motivation that affect them when they take the LECPA.
For the background of the study, achieving a CPA license is a standard yet rewarding career route for most accounting students, and passing the LECPA is one of the steps toward that goal for BSA graduates. Possessing a CPA licensing opens you more career options for sustainability and development. Variability is seen in the passing rate, which is important for the nation's CPA statistics. There is a reasonable possibility in the LECPA takers data that lies behind the noticeable fluctuation of the pass rates. The increasing number of applicants from 2019 sharply decreased in 2021 following the COVID-19 pandemic caused delay of 2020 licensure examination. Given the fact that the rate of passers is increasing, the concern regarding the CPA shortage in the country is still present, and the number of students pursuing accounting and those pursuing licensing has to increase. This generate concerns on matters like how the fourth-year BSA students of Polytechnic University of the Philippines feel about the LECPA exam taking procedure. The question could clarify how this influences their decision on whether to take or not to take the examination. Human behaviors and intentions are influenced to various extents. A crucial and complicated factor is the fourth year BSA student's intention on whether to pursue LECPA. A variety of variables may influence the decision of fourth year students as they continue their path toward a professional license.
For this inquiry, we use the theoretical framework crafted by Isaac Eisen in 1991, which is the theory of planned behavior. The theory, serving as the foundation of our study, suggests that there are three factors that can influence one's intention or motivation in doing an action. These are attitude, which is simply an individual's impression towards the action; subjective norms, which is the impression of the important people in one's life regarding an action; and lastly, perceived behavioral control, which refers to the level of one's control over his actions. The solid arrows connecting the three factors show how can they influence each other and together determine intention. The solid arrow connecting intention to behavior expresses how intention is a predictor of the behavior, while the broken line connecting perceived behavioral control to behavior indicates that one's control over himself directly determines the execution of the action, irrespective of the intent. The group was guided by the following published related literature with the same theoretical framework.
Next is the conceptual framework. The conceptual framework explores how certain factors affect the intention of the graduating BSA students at the PUP Manila to take the licensure exam. It examines how the dependent variables such as demographic characteristic and factors identified in Isaac Eisen planned behavior theory influences intention. which is the dependent variable. Planned behavior theory says that people actions are influenced by how they feel about the action, how much control they think they have over it, and what they think others expect from them. In the study, attitude means whether students like or dislike the idea of taking the LECPA. Perceived behavioral controls means how easy or hard students think it is to get ready for the examination. Subjective norms including what society and friends think about getting the LECPA, including if they approve or disapprove. By gathering information and data from the various students, the researchers aim to construct a comprehensive model demonstrating the interconnections among these factors, enabling them to examine the relationship and impact on the students' decisions.
Moving forward, we will now proceed to the scope and the limitations. The main objective of this study first is to determine the factors that affects BSA student in their intention to take LECPA and to acknowledge which factors affect their intention. Any other factors aside from attitude, subjective norms, and perceived behavioral control are not included. Fourth year BSA student of PUP Manila, academic year 2023 to 2024, is the selected population as they show competency in terms of the number of students who take the board exam and the passing rate. Lastly, factors to intention. This study will only focus on students' intention, assuming that it is predictive to their actual behavior.
We employ the descriptive correlational quantitative approach as our research methodology, as it involves systematically collecting and analyzing numerical data to measure patterns and correlations. It also precisely evaluates variables and hypotheses through surveys. Moreover, it investigates the connection between multiple variables within a single group, exploring relationships through a non experimental approach. Moreover, based on the Freedom of Information Philippines, the total population of fourth year BSA students of PUP Manila for this academic year is 610, which became our basis for the computation of sample size. As per the sampling technique, we use Lovin's formula with a 95% confidence level and 5% margin of error. This gave us a total number of 242 sample sizes. Also, the data will be gathered to the dissemination of Google Forms only to the qualified respondents.
So for the research instrument that this study will be using is the Likert Scale Survey Questionnaire, where it will help the researchers to gather data through the questions that will be answered by the respondents. So there is two parts of the survey questionnaire. The first one is demographic. In demographic, the respondents will state their name, which is optional, age, sex, and the monthly family income. And the second part is the statements referring to the level of agreement associated by the respondents to the factors pertaining to their intention to take the LECPA. By checking the box corresponds to their responses. 5 strongly agree, 4 agree, 3 somewhat disagree, 2 disagree, and the last one is strongly disagree. So, every factors pertaining to their intentions to take the LECPA has 5 questions for intentions, for attitudes, for subjective norms, and lastly for the perceived behavioral control.
So for the validation of research instrument, we will use Cronbach's alpha as recommended by our statistician and approved by our co-author. Considering that we will use a 5-point Likert scale, Cronbach's alpha will help in determining how consistent and strongly linked the factors are as a group. So, ang formula po nito is A is equals to number of items multiplied by the covariance between items over mean item variances plus open parentheses, number of items minus 1 close parentheses multiplied by the mean covariance between items. Furthermore, we also have a certificate of instrument validation signed by Mr. Stefan Aganon, our statistician.
So next is the statement of the problem. The first statement of the problem focuses on the demographic profile of our respondents. We want to know their age, sex, and monthly family income. These questions lay the groundwork for understanding the broader factors influencing the students' intentions regarding the LECPA. The statistical tool we'll be using in this SOP is frequency and percentage distribution. Frequency distribution gives us the raw numbers showing exactly how many respondents fit into each category. It's the foundation giving us a clear tally of respondents in every group. Percentage calculation adds perspective, showing the proportion of respondents in each category relative to the total. It's the normalization process, allowing for comparison across different demographics. Frequency distribution provides the counts, while percentage offers a standardized view relative to the total sample size. Together, they paint a complete picture of our respondents' demographics. So whether it's age, sex, or income, by using frequency and percentage distribution, we gain valuable insight into our surveyed population.
So for the second statement of the problem, it focuses on assessing the respondent's intention regarding the LECPA, and it identifies three key areas, which is the attitude, subjective norm, and the perceived behavioral control from our theoretical framework. And to assess the problem, we use two statistical tools, which are frequency and percentage, and weighted mean, which is widely used in research around the globe. We will use frequency and percentage to analyze the distribution of respondents for each factor, to help us to understand how many respondents choose each option in our survey questionnaire. And then we will use the weighted mean to calculate the average response score for each factor. It provides the overall average sentiments that allows us to identify the potential trends and analyze if specific response choices are more prevalent.
Third statement of the problem is there significant difference in the respondents' assessment of the factors affecting their intention to take the LECPA when grouped according to profile is built upon the thought if there's a significant difference between the two key players in the SOP when they are compared in varying groups based on their demographic profiles. First, the assessment of factors by respondents. This would refer as to how the people surveyed view various elements that might influence their decision, while the intention to take the LECPA means whether the respondents are likely or unlikely to take the licensure examination for certified public accountants based on these factors. The statistical tools that will be used for this SOP are the Mann-Whitney U-test and Kruskal-Wallis test, which are both non-parametric statistical tests used to compare groups. The U-test will tell you if one factor did significantly better than the other, and on the other hand, the Kruskal-Wallis test would compare scores from three or more groups to see if there's an overall difference in the performance across all of them.
Now let's proceed to the statement of the problem 4 and where instruments will be used. The question is there a significant relationship between assessment of the respondents on the factors and their intention in taking the LECPA? It can be analyzed using Spearman correlation as it is the most suitable tool to address the problem. The suitability stems from two key factors. First, the factor under assessment, such as perceived control and attitudes, are likely measured on ordinal scales. Spearman correlation is specifically designed to analyze data where the order of respondents holds significance, such as strongly agree versus strongly disagree, even if the intervals between each level aren't perfectly uniform. Secondly, the problem statement seeks a significant relationship which can be either positive, where higher assessment leads to stronger intention, or negative, where lower assessment leads to weaker intention. Spearman correlation excels at identifying these monotonic relationships. It doesn't require a strict linear pattern but can effectively capture both positive and negative trends.